Hello everybody. So, this is going to be an interesting what if. It's not going to be the Star Wars one, sorry, but I'm going to do a small what if. It's going to be small for now because there's only one way I could have thought this through, and it's going to be interesting. So, let's just say at least. But anyways, it's going to be an interesting ability because how I'm gonna basically do Deku in this one. It's a short one until like the anime gets bigger and the next season comes out and all that. And I guess you guys will see where this one will go. This is a what if that will be on the table that we will see where it goes. Now, this what if Deku is General Grievous? Now, I'm just gonna say it, General Grievous is my favorite Star Wars character by far. Actually, just in general. I don't care about Luke Skywalker. I don't care about any of them. I care about General. General Grievous was the most badass person in the world. I saw the 2003 cartoon. If you've never seen that, I had that on like disc, so it was like my favorite thing to watch. I grew up loving General Grievous because he was the coolest like character in all of Star Wars because he was the most powerful non-force user. And if you ask me, that's saying something. That says something. He killed a lot of Jedi in his time, and even before he was a cyborg, he killed Jedi. And that's something I think the Mandalorians needed to even take up note on, because he did it with like a pike, I think, and a blaster. So there's something kind of interesting that he did that, but either way, it's amazing because it's just showing who's more resourceful and who's more skilled in fighting. Besides, you gotta look at what he's been through. And that's something else entirely. So let's get to it. So Deku, he's gonna have a quirk, and I have to give him this quirk. Otherwise, the story does not work. The quirk is an enhancement on his endurance. Basically, he can withstand pain more. That's it. It's useless, really. But what ends up happening is this: Deku, when he's young, people don't they see this as a useless quirk. I would say the quirk doctor thinks he's a prime candidate for the Nomu whole idea. And I think that comes into consideration with All For One, because he's like, this kid's gonna be all right. I think we could do something with him. And what they do instead is they do something far worse. They go into cybernetics because they realize, hey, if we do something to him, like Nomu-wise, the Nomu is going to basically be brain dead. So we might as well create someone who is more powerful. So what they do is they kind of create a fake scenario. They create a because this is All For One we're talking about. He creates a fake villain attack. Basically, it was all set up around Deku. It was planned out carefully. They even got some villains that were fortune tellers and stuff. So, yeah, these villains, pretty much on payroll, pretty much got them to understand what to do. And what ended up happening was this: Deku, he's in the middle of a villain attack, and the villain does nothing but kill his family. Well, kill his mom, and I'd say his dad, because I'd say his dad be there, I guess. A fake version, I don't know. Listen, we don't know who his dad is yet, so his dad dies. Unless it's like All Might, so yeah, we'll probably, but I don't know we don't know who his dad is, so. But yet, just his mom dies. And brutally, too. Very brutally. It was a type of villain who had blades that shoot out of his arms. Kind of like Wolverine, just metal and sharper. And yeah, he's cutting her. He pretty much dices her up. And I'm going to say that he's a cannibal and eats her. Yeah, we're going there. And I'm going to say that for that whole part, the heroes get there very late. And that's when the whole battle happens. And I'd say it's a really very, very powerful villain. And this villain's fitted with a lot of quirks. And I would say it's like 5 or 3. probably 3. Yeah, 3. And I'm going to say that what ends up happening is that pretty much it takes about 20 heroes to take him down. And what's happening? Well, Deku's in the middle of all this. So I'd say a huge explosion goes off. And I'm going to say that Deku, he's blown up in the process. He's completely annihilated into just pretty much just almost like a completely fried corpse. And I'm gonna say that he is taken away at that moment by Kurogiri. I think that's the teleporting guy's name. I can't remember, but yeah, I think it's Kurogiri. Yeah, it's Kurogiri. He gets taken away by him and brought back to All For One, who has a table set up, and they assess his injuries, and they kind of have him in this like ice bath kind of thing, where it's pumping in all kinds of chemicals to keep him alive. And when he's awake, and they got this whole entire headset on him just so he can hear, it's all specially designed, so they could talk to him and everything. And All For One's pretending to be a doctor, and they tell him that thanks to to the heroes not being there in time, because guess what they were doing? They were doing nothing. They did nothing to help you. Look where you're in. They just brainwashed him, basically. That's all they did to him. They brainwashed Deku into thinking that the heroes were the bad guys, and they did all this to him because they weren't there in time. And now here's the thing. I'm going to say that Deku, he's mad about this, and he wants revenge. So what does he do? He gets a quirk. A very special quirk. And this quirk is from a, I'm going to say right here, it's kind of like Taskmaster's quirk. Alright? And Taskmaster, if you don't know, is from Marvel. And what basically goes on is this. Deku gets a quirk that just studies movements. And through just a few movements, he can pick up what kind of fighting style the person has. That's it. And basically, that's all it is. It's all like an information gathering thing. Now, time for the most interesting part. It's when Deku gets this cybernetic body. Basically the same as Grievous. And let's be honest, Grievous had an amazing body. Like, we all can admit that Grievous's body was probably the best body you could ever get. And yeah, like if you had a cybernetic body, I'd rather have Grievous's than like Crytek's nano suit. Because let's be honest, Grievous, he can clamp onto walls with those legs. And that's basically what I'm giving Deku. If you haven't seen the 2003 movies, I suggest watching them, because that's basically what Deku's going to be in. Well, be having in a sense. So, what are we going to have? Well, this is simple. We're going to have a Deku who's basically super dangerous. Like, way too dangerous. Like, you don't want to mess with him. Kind of danger. And what ends up happening is this. Deku, he, I'm going to have to put him in, like, later on, but basically, Bakugo doesn't remember him. Well, he does remember him. He thinks he failed, because I'd say Bakugo was there and tried to save Deku, but got knocked away by the villain, thinking he's nothing, but yeah. So, Bakugo gets stronger than ever before, because he witnesses his friend die and all that shit. And he kind of has a hate for all heroes, even All Might, because they did nothing, so he plans to be the hero that does something. And that's kind of like what Deku is doing as well in his own way. And what Deku has, he has this whole cybernetic body. Do they want to put in an explosive in his body just to prevent him from actually betraying them? No, because they think the brainwashing's worked. Has it really? We'll see. So, time for the fun part. Now, you're probably wondering, what does Deku have as weapons? He has kind of like shootout batons, but they're blades. I kind of had to do a makeshift lightsaber, alright? Bear with me, alright? Basically, he's got blades that shoot out. They're like lightsabers, but just blades. like flip knives that shoot out almost, like not spring knives, but you know what I mean. But yeah, he's got those, and they are ridiculous. Let me think. Do I want to give him Yeah, I'll give him them. Now, Deku, he's learning how to move with this body, and he also learns how to use the clamps, and how he can actually pretty much get away from all kinds of attacks, really. The only attacks that really could deal damage to him is electric, or I would say just electricity, or like something that's like naval laser, but yeah, that's about it. Naval laser and the electric guy can deal damage to him. Other than that, I don't really think so. So, let's get to it. Deku, he's, for the USJ attack, everything goes about the same, just Deku is on the ceiling, watching everybody. Yeah, so he's there until Kurogiri has to leave with Deku. And I actually say Deku stays there, and he watches until it's time for him to leave. And he leaves through a window that was broken or something. And I would say that the cameras didn't pick him up, because I'd say he destroyed them when the EMP even still was going on. He destroyed them. And what do you think he's going to be doing? Oh, that's obvious. Oh, and by the way, the only thing they got from the cameras, because he destroyed the camera, but he didn't destroy the audio, so all they heard was like some metal clanking. They don't know what it was. So, yeah. Now, who gets one for all? Well, seeing how I got this whole determination with Bakugo, I think it's gonna have to be Bakugo. I'm sorry. I know I do. I know this is like something that some of you be like, oh, that's alright, I guess, or okay, that's something. But I did want to do like someone else, but this works. This is the only way this story is gonna have to work. And what happens with what's gonna happen next? Well, Sports Vessel's basically the same. Basically, what happens in the camp though is different. This is where Deku emerges, and what happens is pretty simple. Actually, I'm gonna say that the Stain encounter never happened too. Actually, no, Deku killed Stain. Yeah, and I'm gonna say that for the forest scene, when Bakugo is taken, because he's still gonna be taken, Muscular, he's not there because they have Deku, and what's gonna happen is that, well, when Bakugo is taken, and he's taken, I would say, not by the magician guy, but by Deku. That's where Deku makes his appearance. He actually snatches Bakugo pretty easily. Like, he kind of sneaks in and does it. Like, there was no need for a huge attack. And all that was left was a carving on the wall saying, heroes shall burn. That's pretty much it. And actually, no, you'll learn what a true hero is someday. But not today. Well, actually, no, I don't know what the message would be. Something that involves heroes and it's threatening, and, well, you kind of get the gist. But yeah, something that involves like a message for for where Bakugo is going to be going. Kinda. Now, let's get to the fun part. This is where it's All Might versus All for One. And instead of All Might versus All for One, it's All Might versus Deku. And while Bakugo has been held, he's actually been held with kind of care. And he's being held by Deku. And Deku, thanks to the body, is like tall as Grievous. He's as tall as Grievous. And his body will still grow, which is why he's going to need like better modifications more and more every day sometimes. So yeah. So for when Bakugo is captured, he is actually, I'm going to say that Deku has like this growth material. It's a type of material that grows with him. That's kind of what it is. It's like a living material that's attached to his skin, and it grows with him. So yeah, that's kind of like what's going to happen. And its natural color is white because it can't be dyed or anything, because it would just come off by attacks and all that. So he's being treated with care, and Bakugo does not understand why. He does not understand why he's being treated by care with a villain. And I would say that Deku's just looking at him. Looking at him, not with disgust or hatred. And Bakugo could tell by this. He can tell that he's looking at him with not fear, not anything. He's looking at him as if he's just reunited with someone. And this is kind of weird. This is a really weird feeling that the two see each other having. And I would say right around when All Might comes in, I would say that's when, I would say Deku, he doesn't really hate All Might. He doesn't blame him, because he knows that All Might would have done something sooner if he got there first. But no, it was a bunch of other heroes. So, yeah, back in the mind, he doesn't hate All Might. And I'm going to say that the way that Deku gets found out that he is Deku is when, I would say, now what's Deku's villain name? I would say it's the Hero Hunter, or the legendary, well, yeah, I would say the legendary White Phantom. And what's Deku gonna have? That's gonna be probably the most broken thing on the whole planet. Well, he's gonna fight All Might. And what happens? Well, this is what happens. Deku fights All Might, kind of with the most hardest difficulty ever, but he kind of beats him almost. Until Bakugo comes in fighting, and I would say that around when they're fighting, and Bakugo's taking in hits, they're both receiving hits, I would say that they're both worn out, and that's when All For One kind of comes in fighting All Might. And I would say that Deku and Bakugo fight, but through their fight, they find out who each other are. And Bakugo says, "Deku, is that you?" And the way he found out was because of the eyes and just just the feeling that they have for each other. The feeling that they know each other. So I'm gonna say that All For One gets taken down, and Deku gets taken down. Now, the reason why Deku got taken down was because he got punched by All Might. with All For One too. And I'm gonna say that when Deku's in like this cell, he's held with chains and all that because they don't know how strong he is. And I'm gonna say that Deku, he gets they get a huge psych evaluation. They want to see what is wrong with him, because there's something, they've seen the body he's in. It looks like torture. The Nomu's carcass was something else, but this is like on a next level. So they look at his body, they check everything, they see that he is literally somehow not in agony. And the worst part about this is they realize that his body should be dead because of shock. And what they do is they do all kinds of tests on how he's even alive, or even how he's pretty much just anything. And when they do the psych evaluation, they find out that he was pretty much brainwashed into thinking heroes are bad. And I would say that they find that out through a telepath. Well, not telepath. Well, yeah, telepath, because that's what it is. All right. Yeah, so a telepath kind of comes in and does the psych evaluation. And it's kind of sad. It's just really depressing to go into Deku's mind. And I'd say that after a bit of time, even Nezu comes in asking him questions. And he's the smartest thing around. So he would easily get into Deku's mind and quickly blow Deku's mind by saying, "Hey, you're kind of not the good guy here," and pretty much show that he isn't. And I think after that, Deku would easily just fall apart. But with Bakugo there, I think he would definitely get back on his feet. And what is it that Deku is going to be able to do later? Well, you're going to just have to find out, because I'm stopping here. Have a good day and a good night. Peace out.